time to test this out. Okay, I didn't take the sticker all the way off. I'm going to have to put like a wet sponge on there to soak that off, but I think it'll be okay because all the heat's going to be over here. Yeah, so this is my Elite Gourmet single burner, and let's do this. And online, I did some research. People are saying Elite, people are saying Elite. So, you know, I'm just going to say what I feel is right. And it is what it is. So if I'm not pronouncing it correct, sorry. Yeah, so this actually has a max. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess the levels of heat are numbers, and then it has max. So it ends at 5, and then max is your last option. So I guess that's the highest heat, basically. And number 1's going to be the lowest, like simmer. All right, so I'm going to start off with doing these cauliflower florets, and I'm going to show you how I make my smashed cauliflower, and it's a replacement for mashed potatoes because this is what I'm going to be trying out. I'm going to cook these up really quickly, and I'm going to do a T-bone steak with, instead of mashed potatoes, mashed cauliflower florets. You know what? This started boiling so quickly. I think it's only been about 2 to 3 minutes, not even that. Okay, and there's only, you know, a little amount of water, but yeah, it's pretty quick. All right, let's do this. All right, so I'm going to actually add my garlic in now that it's boiling. Just 1 medium clove. I don't want to overpower it with a bunch of garlic flavor. And I'm going to go ahead and add some stuff now that it's boiling. So this is my Peppercorn Melody pepper grinder. And I would get a larger one of these, but for some reason with the Peppercorn Melody, they don't have, this is a new one. I didn't take the wrapper off all the way. They don't have this one in the actual large. So it is what it is. Okay. And yes, peppercorns fly everywhere when you're using this. A little bit of sea salt, and I'm watching my salt. I'm trying to do low carb, heart healthy. Yeah, so I've been watching how much salt I use, basically. And this right here is the onion blend, the onion and herb. I think I got the garlic herb, the table blend, and the original dash, which I think is the table blend. So I have a few of these. So this one, I like the sweet onion taste. It's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna let this cook. And when it comes to fork tender, I am going to drain all the liquid out, and I'm going to blend them with my handheld blender. So I did leave a tiny bit of the liquid in there because it does have the herbs, the garlic, and the butter. I didn't strain it. I just kind of tipped the pan in the sink and just let whatever would come out, because there's not that much liquid anyways, and we're gonna get to blending. And what I'm gonna do is not add milk. That's my secret to make sure they don't become too liquefied, because I want them to be like a potato mash. All right, so I already got these sliced, the green onions. I didn't get chives. Sometimes I get chives, sometimes I don't. I just wanted this because for the price and how much you get in here, I could put it on my salads. I could do anything I want with it. So I got this, and let's get the butter. So I'm gonna do, I think this is probably 2 tablespoons or maybe a tablespoon and a half. And when you put a little dollop of butter on top, you know, when you're plating it, consider that when you're adding butter, if you're going to do that. So I don't need too much butter. This isn't like, you know, the butter showdown. And I'm going to go ahead and put my green onion, a teaspoon or a teaspoon, just for now, and we're going to get to blending. So this is off, but now I'm going to actually, but it's still really hot. I'm really impressed by this burner. Nothing but goodness for now. And yeah, so it'll probably stay that way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Let's try 4. That's kind of in the middle. And let's get to blending. And I'm going to start on low so it doesn't splash everywhere, and just so here's my secret to my wannabe mashed potatoes. My cauliflower smash, or whatever you want to call it. So it's not too creamy or too watery. I don't add milk. I don't add heavy cream. I just use a little bit of the liquid that I cooked it in. Just a tiny bit. I drain most of it. And if you want to use a strainer, go ahead. Make sure your bits of garlic don't fall out. But I just tip the pan and don't let anything fall out, just the liquid. I leave a tiny bit of the liquid once again. I add the butter. I mash it like this with my handheld blender. And since all of them weren't completely fork tender, that's when you're going to turn your heat up and you're going to let it cook a little bit, because this is what's going to make sure it gets tender enough to where you don't have bits and chunks. And then you're going to re-blend it and or smash it with your handheld blender or whatever you're using to make your mashed cauliflower. And you're going to get it to the right texture. It looks like it's almost ready to blend one more time and or smash, because it is kind of like smashing, because you're holding your blender a certain way and you're not just, you know, blending the heck out of it. So yeah, so this pan's actually working pretty good. This is a new pan also. It's made by Viking. I got it at Marshall's and it's pretty good. As you could see, there was a little tiny bit of crispy bits. I don't know if you caught that on camera in the very beginning when I started stirring. And they came up nicely, and that gives a good taste. Alright, so I'm going to blend it one more time. And I did have it on like a medium-high heat while I was getting it back up to a higher temperature, just so I could blend it one more time. And then I'm going to set it on my plate, and then I'm going to cook my T-bone steak. And try the pan out and see how this all works out. So let's do this. Pretty good. And if you don't want any cauliflower trace whatsoever, like taste, you can add a tiny bit of chicken broth, and that does the trick. I don't do it because I don't need it. I actually like this taste, and I like the hint of the cauliflower, but it's barely there. So yeah, so to each its own. And the one thing I do recommend as far as when you're going to make a mash, do not use the shredded, already prepared, shredded, frozen, or fresh to actually mash. That's better for ricing and cooking at a high temperature like fried rice and stuff. You want it to be florets because the mash will be too soggy. And that's just my opinion and, you know, my experience with it. Medium-low heat for now. I'm going to spray the pan with extra virgin olive oil. A good amount. And you want it to actually make the sear sound when you put your T-bone steak on, whether it's stainless steel, cast iron, or whatever you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Where can I put this? Oh, I'll put it over here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and salt, sea salt is what I'm using, like always. And I'm going to go ahead and go for it with the salt. That's why I kind of used less salt with my actual mash, because the steak is getting salted, baby. That's all there is to it. My peppercorn melody. You can use whatever pepper you like. I'm going to be using the onion and herb dash. And I'm going to go heavy on it because there's no salt in it. And I'm going to go ahead and press. Press it in. Press it in, baby. Press it in. And I think this part needs more. Get to pressing. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and wipe my hand off. Grab my sea salt. Salt this side. Pepper it. And just repeat the process on the other side. And going heavy with the herbs, baby. Press it in, press it in. And I use this plastic cutting board. I'm just going to remove it. I'm not going to be using this for anything else as far as cutting anything. So it's not an issue with this being meat because I'm basically done. We just need to cook the steak. I got my mash and I'm ready to go. All right, so let me rinse my hands off really quick. When you're dealing with meat, you want to rinse your hands, wash them, and let's get ready to put it in here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat up, and let me see. I think it's going to go ahead and make this here sound. Let's find out. I don't know. Will it or will it not? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab the meat, and okay, it could have been louder, Sear, but it's there. Okay, I should have waited a little bit longer because I did turn the heat down while I was preparing it and getting it out on the cutting board and stuff like that. So it is what it is, but it'll all work out because a little bit of a sear was there. You heard it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just add this because I like to take a bite of one while I'm eating. And I'm going to put some mushrooms on the side. Who doesn't like mushrooms on steak? Let me know. And since I actually didn't add like some olive oil, like a tablespoon or two, I am going to lightly spray the top of the steak so when I flip it. And the thing is don't flip your steak over and over again. And I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of people know this already. But just a tip, you know, and something that I do and most people do. Just let it set and let it cook at a medium-high heat. And get your pan to the point where it kind of sounds like this, but it's not too hot. And you're gonna cook it for my taste as far as how I like my steak. I like it medium well, not too well, but just well enough to where it's still a bit pink, but not too pink. And yeah, so I'm gonna cook it on each side for about probably 8 minutes, maybe 7 to 8 minutes. And then I'm going to let it rest. And that's the biggest part and the most important, to let your meat rest. So, you know, all the natural juices stay in the steak and they don't run out when you cut it. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way so it doesn't roll. And let's get the flipping, baby. All right, so let me see. Okay, so got that. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it back up to probably a medium-high and let it cook for another almost 8 minutes. So right now I'm going to just go ahead and top it off with some butter. Okay. Whoa. Oh, gonna have to get a new fork. All right. Put a little butter right here. Butter this baby up. Let me butter you up, sweetie. Okay, I'm gonna put 2. I'm gonna put 2. Let's do it. If you're gonna do it, go for it. Go all the way. Let me see. Come on. I'm getting that off there for the video. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give it another 8 minutes, almost 8 minutes. We're going to cook it on a medium-high. Oh my God, it smells so good in here. And I didn't use no fresh garlic for this because I just didn't want to. I do things differently all the time. It just depends on my mood. And with the fresh garlic, it tends to get bitter sometimes when you cook it this long. And when I do actually use it for steak and stuff like that, I usually put it on the steak or in the pan right before I take it off. And I just didn't feel like chopping it. So I did put it in the mash, the cauliflower mash that I made. And yeah, so I just used, you know, my dash seasoning, and that works for me. So all of them are good. Okay, it's been about 5 to 6 minutes, and sometimes when you do this, that's a good indicator of how you want it, how well you want it, or how rare you want it. So this right here, it's giving me some good bounce back. So I think I'm almost done here. But see how there's blood right here? That shows me in certain parts it's not going to be to where I want it to be, but other parts are thinner cut. So it gets thicker as you move into the center. But always keep in mind, it's going to continue to cook when you let it rest and take it off the heat. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, I took my jalapeno out, and I think this is exactly where I want it to be as far as the medium rareness. I'm going to take it out of the pan, let it rest, and I'm actually going to clean this pan and see how easy it comes clean, because this is the first time use for the pan also. And yeah, so let's do this. Let's take it off. Letting my steak rest, and I'm going to wait the full complete 5 minutes. And yeah, depending on how thick it is, you know, you could do 5 to 6 minutes. You just don't want it to get cold. And with my cauliflower mash, I actually did just put the whole plate in the oven and put it on warm just to warm those up. Okay, I have it plated up, and I hope I let it rest long enough. But if I didn't want my mashed cauliflower to get too cold. So let's just take a bite of this. All right, so before I mess it all up, there we go. Take a few pictures, and let me just turn my plate right here. All right, let's see how. And I did buy a knife sharpener. As you can see, I'm not chopping away. And let's see. Ooh, okay, see? There's not much juice coming out at all. I let it rest the perfect amount of time. And as you can see, let it focus. It's pink. This is a light pink, and that's what I want. I don't want it well done, but just almost well done. So I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there is a little bit of pinkness. And as you get more into the middle, it's going to be pinker because it's thicker in the middle. So as you gradually get through the steak, it's going to get a little bit rarer, which it's not going to be like bleeding. It's going to be like a medium. Yeah, so let's try it out. Oh my God. Okay, let me try. Let's try these mashed cauliflower wannabe potatoes. Oh my God. This just hit the spot. All right. Well, I tried that out. I'm totally happy. Let me have a mushroom. Next time, I hope to be making something a little bit different. It might be seafood because I already have frozen seafood that I purchased. But in the future, the near future, I will be making some lamb chops, which are going to be really amazing. And some type of nice side to go with it. So I'll see you in my next upload. And do look forward to my epic Duncan Hines review on another boxed treat for low carb people. Yeah, so anyways, I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have, and I'm gonna get to eating.